All
All
right.
right, the pants are off.
All right. So
Right on.
we'll kind of go over everything as we go. We'll play. We'll play as late as we can. So I'll let Worm and Theo and Sasha kind of do like a unified kind of quick background of what's going on with the story. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what's going on with Princes of Apocalypse. I don't know if you've watched the stream, where the group's at, or what, but they'll get you caught up really quick.
Go ahead, Misty, get us started.
Go
I'll,
ahead,
I'll, I'll.
Worm.
Oh, okay. I'll get you started in the beginning here, guys. But basically, what it is we all kind of met in a outside town, and then we traveled to this town,
Red
and
Larch.
yeah, we're in the town of Red Larch. And while we were here, there were a couple like odd jobs and stuff. There were like bandits that raided us on the way here, and essentially when we got here, it was a little bit lawless, and we took care of some bandits, and we went and we looked at the town. We did some odd jobs. There were a couple like tombs that were supposedly haunted, and we went out and we took care of that, and just some regular kind of strange stuff like that. But then over time, what we did is we found out that there is a kind of like a cultist, a hidden sect that's inside of Red Larch, and they're like elementalists, like stone elementalists, and they had all these secret catacombs below the town, and a humongous sinkhole opened up, and we fell below the town, and then long story short, there were a lot of people getting killed, and the main guy got away. So we started going after him, and as we were getting ready to, he hightailed it. He got away, and as we were getting ready, we met up with some people and started talking to him, and they basically here. Let me pull my notes here. Uh, Basically, the rumors are that first of all, there's this one guy named Larman Greenboot. This is basically where we are right now. Is that we're in this town. We've just rested up in this bar. Or, I'm sorry, in this bar slash uh, hotel. I don't know, tavern, and we're getting ready to head out to a nearby town because there's four graves that are just recently been unearthed or just recently been buried, and we got to go take a look at it. One of these guys, this guy named Norman Greenboot, he's from the general store. He's going to guide us, and then after that, we're going to move toward the town of Belliard, which is just to the I think it's to the east of us, because there's another rumor, which is kind of a more critical thing, and that there was this group, a delegation, that was like a peace delegation or something, and they were heading towards Belliard, and they never made it. And we want to figure out what the heck happened, and we've got a couple of tasks to go ahead and do that. I think that about covers it. You guys, is there anything else that I'm missing?
Damn, Worm. I thought you needed a ovation for that. That was excellent.
That's a
Yeah,
quick
the
quickie.
just to add a little bit, the delegation made it to Belliard. They didn't make it to their next destination, which was Summit Keep. So they were actually seen in Belliard. That was the last place they were saw. That's actually the last place that they had been seen. So they were on their way to the keep. Remember, there was talk about they were burying some noble knight from some order from Waterdeep. So
That's right.
that died in battle just recently. So yeah, they were doing that, but they had been seen and spotted in Belliard, just not after that.
All right, so that's kind of where we stand right now. So once we get on the move, we'll go take a look at those unearthed graves, and then we'll head towards Belliard. I think when we looked at the map last time, we found that the unearthed graves were pretty close or on our way to Belliard.
Yeah, you guys are in the Desserin Valley, which Red Larch and everything is there in the valley. And here, let me show you guys this map again. So the map should pop up for you, and I'm gonna sync it to where you guys are where I'm at, and you'll see that on the left hand side, there is Red Larch, lower left hand side. Now, uh, the last place that, if you go across a large path through the Somber Hills, the last place going over the stone bridge that the delegation and the caravan was seen was in Belliard. They were going down to Summit Hall, and they were never seen at Summit Hall. So they're missing the body of a nobleman and quite a few important delegates of the region of the Sword Coast.
Don't forget, I want to stop over in Westbridge to check out those books.
You mean Wombat? Wombat would be down to the south. Womford, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Wamford.
Yep, Womford. Yep, yep. I think you guys were going to go Graves, Belliard, and then I think down to Womford to see what kind of information you can find out.
So mark where the graves are on the map, if you don't mind, Dave.
Sure, I can most certainly do that.
And then I think while you're doing that, maybe we should tell the new guys kind of a quick review of what our characters are and everything, so they understand kind of what's going on.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
I'll start off and let you guys know. My character's name is Donk, and I'm a Goliath, which is kind of like a giant. And my class is a barbarian, so my character's really stupid, and he talked like this, and he always talked to himself in the third person. Hi, my name is Donk. And then what he does is he's a barbarian and he smashes stuff. My favorite weapon, he's stupid, and my favorite weapon is this giant maul made of like a cut tree trunk. And whenever I get the chance, I just smash stuff to jelly. Sasha?
So I'm playing Sasha. She's a half elf rogue. Usually rolling around with her two long swords. She's definitely not afraid to use whatever she has to get whatever she wants.
I was going to say
She's
rolling around with any living, breathing
Yeah,
corpse
when
inside
she
Red
started,
Larch.
yeah, I was gonna say when she started saying rolling around, I thought, oh my God, she's gonna say it. But then you
I
said with
don't know what you're
swords.
talking about. Sasha's a virgin.
Yeah, yeah. Every day is a new day for her.
So what is it like that Madonna song? Like a virgin touched for the 55th time.
I
Oh
don't, what
my.
are you trying to imply, Dave?
That you are a regular at the temple where they use vaginal rejuvenation spell.
That's right. That's horrible, but that's.
Hey, how did you know? Are you following me?
Maybe.
What about you, Theo?
So, my name is Theo Grogfest, a dwarven bard who's adventuring to find his way and his flavor for his brew when he gets back to his clan. And I like to cast Vicious Mockery.
That's right. Like a.
So I marked where the Somber Hills are in the middle of the map. I marked a black spot. That's the one thing that I hope improves in Fantasy Grounds. I love Fantasy Grounds. Not bitching about this, but I hope that's the one thing that does improve is the writing, and I hope that you can eventually type on the maps like you can in Roll20. That's really nice. So you can see my little makeshift circle down here.
Yeah, so
And
it's just to the west, or excuse me, it's just to the east of Red Larch.
yeah, about an hour out, said Larman Greenboot.
All right, fantastic.
Yep.
So we're heading off toward. What time of day is it?
It's mid morning. You guys got a good rest last time because you guys had been into the Temple of the Moving Stones, well the Catacomb of the Moving Stones. You guys stayed overnight, and remember the what is his name, the guy of Red Larch. Anyway, the constable. I'm sorry, that's it. The constable. He got with you the next morning, letting everyone know that he sent out a couple scouts at night to try to track down this Earth priest, this Earth elementalist that you had actually found and heard from in the Tomb of Moving Stones. So he told you that he saw tracks going into the Somber Hills, and then his two best scouts lost the tracks. So it is now probably mid morning. You guys have been, uh, you know, mingling around. Several of the you can actually see this morning there are several, and you guys would know who these organizations are, but you can see several people from the Harpers, from the Lord's Alliance, the Emerald Enclave, and the Order of the Gauntlet all sitting at a table as you guys usually go down to your typical table over off in the corner. You can see that there's a large congregation of very heavily dressed and heavily armed men. You can see that there's a couple paladins there, a couple what appear to be ones with nature, maybe a couple druids. There's also a couple in cloaks with their hoods up, one hood up, one hood down, and they notice you as you come down to the as you come down into the Singing Sword Inn. That morning they notice everything going on, and floor's
So let's
yours.
let's yeah, let's walk over to them. And are they sitting at the table and they're in like a bit of a discussion, like a meeting? Would we be interrupting it if we walked in?
Yeah, they're kind of bantering with one another. Not bantering, but they're just conversing with one another. And several times throughout the morning, as you guys have been eating breakfast and whatnot, coming up and down from your rooms, because Kel had also he finished his ritual to magically bind his sword to him. He had to step out and grab some things to perform that ritual. So, yeah, but they've noticed you guys several times, and if you walk over to the table, they definitely acknowledge you. Kind of
So
nod their
Donk's gonna
head
go
at you.
ahead and
Oh
I'm just
boy,
gonna walk over to the table
old
and I'm
Donk.
gonna I'm gonna get within that zone of right in front of them, and I'm just gonna stand there, just staring at them, and I'm gonna say, "Hello, my name is Donk. Why are you guys here?"
Well, good morning, good Donk. Have you by chance have you anyone that would like to join us in a conversation? We have some pretty important things that we need to discuss, and we heard that not only as your nice bruteful self Donk, but with several of your other party mates, we heard that you actually had found one of these earth priests in the catacombs below the town, and we are here. We found out through a messenger throughout the night, and we are now here in the morning to help investigate this.
All right, I'm gonna motion for everybody else. I'll just yell throughout the tavern. Hey, you guys! It's just like in that Goonies. Hey, you guys!
We need to change your avatar to basically sloth. We need to
That's
get you the
right from
sloth
the
avatar.
Goonies.
I'll make you a new
Exactly.
avatar and change your avatar to sloth.
That's hilarious.
I walk over like you bellowed.
So yeah,
Raz,
you come over to this table. There are about there's between we'll say that there's 8 individuals, and you can see that each of them bear different symbols on the clasp of their coats, and you can tell that there are. So let me see if I have these images here.
So, Onion Bro, you were gonna say something?
yeah, I was just gonna add in how Raz would walk over and probably poke her head in, likely just between Donk's feet, I'm guessing, because, yeah, she's 2 feet tall.
That's right. She's just a short thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you notice several of these. I've given you guys some handouts, some pop-ups here. You notice that there are these 4 symbols on the clasp of the individuals that are sitting at this table. Now, you know the first symbol, the which is the green symbol with the deer and horns. That is the faction called the Emerald Enclave. There's also another faction represented there called the Harpers, and they're the one that has the moon with the harp. It is the blue symbol. The Lord's Alliance has the crown and has the orange and yellow background. And then there is the Order of the Gauntlet, which is the shield and the gray and dark blue.
So, being a Goliath, do I need to do a history check or something, or do I just know about these orders because I've been functioning for the last couple of years in the human cities?
Now I'll actually tell you a little bit about each one. So you know
So
the
obviously,
Harpers.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Everybody would know this. So the Harpers are basically it's a scattered network of spellcasters and spies, and the Harpers advocate equality and covertly they oppose the abuse of power, magical and otherwise. So they're ones of peace, and most of the time they operate in secret. But it
And
seems
they're anti-magic. Did you say?
no. If the magic is used for wrongful purposes, yes, they
Ah,
are
okay.
anti-magic. Yes. Now, the Order of the Gauntlet. This is a faction that is primarily a military organization made up of paladins, clerics, and monks. And the two representatives that they have are clad in heavy plate mail, which they probably would be some type of paladin or cleric. As for the Emerald Enclave, which is represented by several elves, you can see that this is a basically you know of the Emerald Enclave as one with nature and basically the wilderness and survivalists, and they want to preserve the natural order while rooting out unnatural threats within their boundaries. Basically they are the druids, the rangers, the barbarians, anything of the pretty much any of the Fae. And then there's the Lord Alliance, which is represented, and the Lord's Alliance is probably the most shaky of all of the represent, but they're really aggressive, taking care of things. They're really aggressive, and sometimes they'll use any means necessary to take care to take care of like evil threats. But I mean,
So this is
they are all for peace, and it's kind of weird to see all four of these factions together in one place.
Would we be surprised to see them banter together like they were comrades?
Well, they are all allied together. That they've all worked in the past together, and but it is unusual to see, especially in a tavern like the Singing Sword Inn. It is a little unusual to see these four groups together represented at a table. Yes, it would be. Usually, you would see maybe the Order of the Gauntlet with the other knights. But when you start getting with the Harpers and the Emerald Enclave, things usually are awry, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we're in a tavern that serves alcoholic beverages. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's they
So
are serving.
I would like to buy everyone here, including the members of these four groups, a round of mead, and I would like to watch them all very carefully drink that, and notice if anyone does not drink or does something strange with their drink.
Oh no!
Now
They
he
accept
said
it.
everyone, so that means donk. Bring on the beer. Bring
They-
it on.
They
Free
accept
beer.
your generosity, and they thank you very much for it. And they ask a couple of the servants to pull up several more chairs for all of you. There is several things that we would like to discuss with you.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up two chairs, one for each ginormous cheek of my butt, and then I'm gonna plop down right in front and just kind of like stomp my full mug of mead, just stomp it right there on the ground, and I want to just violate their space, that spacing between them, so everybody feels just a bit uncomfortable and has to scooch a little.
So a couple of the paladins, they're in their heavy armor, so they're like growing roots where they're sitting. So they're so everybody starts to shuffle around, and everybody's getting a lot closer to one another. So the one of the gentlemen, he's from the Order of the Gauntlet, and he introduces himself as Darl, Darl. And Darl tells you that throughout the night, like what he had said to you, Donk, now he's telling everyone here that through the night there is a messenger that had reached out to all of the orders, well, most of the orders. There are several other orders that are not represented here today. The Zentrum, you notice that there is no one here from the Zentrum. And then there's a couple other minor orders that are really nothing to worry about. But these are the orders that pretty much have a lot of influence of the Forgotten Realms, especially the Sword Coast, and they are peacekeepers a lot of the time. So he introduces himself as Darl. A messenger throughout the night from the constable here at Red Larch had reached out, and we had reached out throughout the network to the Emerald Enclave, the Lords Alliance, and the Harpers, and we figured we would come here. We heard that you had your group, and the way that we could tell it's you is because of it's not every day that you're blessed enough to run into a Goliath. So as soon as we seen good old Donk here, we knew we had the right group of individuals.
All right, I'd give a big old toothy grin. Oh, blessed! You're lucky Goliath is here to eat your food and drink your mead.
So
yes, yes, it's hard to miss you, Donk.
And the servers are bringing over plenty of breakfast items. They're still trying to get rid of all of the breakfast items. So there's sausages and all kinds of muffins and cakes and shortbreads and vegetables, and so
I'm just
all
gonna
of this is
pile it
being-
right in front of me.
Oh, yeah,
I
there's
just
all
start
kinds of
piling
stuff
it.
for you, Donk.
As the servers set it down in front of other people, I'm gonna reach over and slide the whole tray in front of me, and then just start chowing it while I'm listening to this guy as he speaks.
And while Dunk is doing that, I'm beckoning to the bar wench, clicking my fingers and saying, "More mead for me, please."
We'll get right with you. We're just a couple, and they're halflings, and they're saying, "Oh, we're going as quick as our little legs will go," and you can hear Raz, because Raz is a halfling. She kind of sighs a little bit, but they eventually get you guys some more mead. They ask you what type of mead you'd like. There's a full spread, all kinds of different meads made of fruits. There's a banana mead. There is an apple mead, and then there's just pure dwarvish mead, which they know what Theo loves already. So they're bringing Theo his special cask that they've got set aside for him in the back.
Damn right.
Damn right. So, this gentleman from the Order of the Gauntlet. Anybody remember his name?
From Order of the
Darl?
Gauntlet. Yeah, Darl.
Okay. Just had to throw in that quiz real quick for you.
I have it under notes. You guys can click notes, and then I have all the days broken out and what the people's names are.
All right, so this is Darl. He goes into talking about, the Order, and he says, we know that you've already heard about this missing delegation. The missing delegation, the last place that this caravan or delegation was spotted was in Belliard. They were supposed to make it to the Summit Hall. We ourselves, we have a noble warrior. He was killed several weeks ago fighting orcs in the spine of the world. Now the spine of the world is due north. It is past Neverwinter. It is near Icewind Dale. And it's basically a massive mountain range. Well, it's full of the orcs of the Many Arrows tribe up there. And this noble knight was from the Order of the Gauntlet. He fell in battle, and he's been a knight of the Order of the Gauntlet for generations, for decades, and they wanted to get him a proper burial. And his corpse is missing. And they need to find his corpse. They've got scouts out, but unfortunately there's a lot of cultist activity in the area, so most of the Order of the Gauntlet is out trying to take care of that issue. And then he goes into, that's why we have the other factions here, because we all share the same common interest. So the Lords Alliance, meaning the Lords Alliance, the Emerald Enclave, and the Harpers. And one of the Harpers representatives stands up, which is an elf, and she pulls her her hood off, and you can tell it's a beautiful elf. And she
Hello.
explains that there is a moon elf that she just kind of bashfully shies and uh, tells Theo to enjoy his grog fest. So the Emerald Enclave, this beautiful elf stands up and tells you that there is a moon elf named Teresiel, and in the possession, and this is a person that was uh, on this, that was in this brigade or this council or this delegates, and this druid had a magical seed of magical pouch of seeds, and this they were taking these seeds to the abbeys of golden of the golden fields not far from here, and these are supposed to grow into magic. It's supposed to make magical groves of fruits, because a lot of the lands have over the years here, even though they're nice and fertile, some lands have been kind of destroyed. So these magical seeds are supposed to renourish those fields and to help get the stable crops going on a yearly basis again. So that that moon elf Teresiel, 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 she is missing. She was part of this group also. And then she sits down and kind of gives you a nice courteous elvish bow. And then another gentleman stands up in a like a chainmail type of armor. He introduces himself from the Lord's Alliance, and this is a rather tall dwarf, and with he goes into talking on this mission, to Summit Hall. There are three important delegates from the Lord's Alliance that were pretty much leading this delegation. There was a moon elf, a shield dwarf, and a human noble, and their names were Teresiel, which he kind of nods over to the Emerald Enclave. There's also the shield dwarf from Mirabar named Rundorth, and also one of the human nobles from Waterdeep named Desina Majara. And these diplomats are very important. All of these diplomats are part of a secret coded document that must be recovered at all costs, and we need to find these individuals. And then the Order of the Gauntlet pretty much reinforces everything. The Harpers also chime in, and they talk about Rudenthar, the dwarf, the dwarf that was part of their faction, and he's pretty much transporting his long collected archive and collection of manuscripts to Waterdeep, and this was the only route that he could have got to Waterdeep, and unfortunately he has gone missing with all of his manuscripts. And the Harpers basically cannot afford for this sage to lose his documents and his manuscripts. So there's a lot of things happening. Cultists, and then they go into there are numerous different cultists that worship the different elements of the world, of of the lands, and they've got most of their agents out trying to find out this information. So why did they ask you to help?
Well, let me tell you, Dave, because after this, all these people are talking.
Sure.
Donk's been chugging his mead, and I just kind of slam the empty stein down and wipe the froth from my face, and I look right at the gauntlet, the Order of the Gauntlet guy, and I just basically say, "How much we get for saving your guy?"
Well, I'm sure we can talk rewards once we have the items in our possession, and and with our reputations as the Harpers and the Lord's Alliance, the Emerald Enclave, and the Order of the Gauntlet, I'm sure that you'll well be taken care of compensation wise.
Donk wants magic seed. I want some magic seed to grow crops. How much? I'll do it for 5